Welcome to the Mufu TV 2021 Remix Contest. To get to this page, just go to the website up here. It's musicalfeatures.org/MufuTV 2021-Remix-Contest. The focus of the contest is the track Friday by Riton and Nightcrawlers. If you don't know how it sounds, take a listen to the track at the top of the page.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Once you've read through the information on this page, you can download the free sample pack just here. Choose where you want to save it on your computer, click Save, and once it's downloaded, you can unzip the file by double-clicking it. The components of the sample pack can be seen here. Each of these folders contains samples and loops ready to be imported into your DAW of choice. Skip to the relevant chapter for some top tips in various workstations. Here we've got a blank GarageBand session. Choose a track type to get started. Remember to save your project once it loads up. Next, we're going to change the BPM to 123 beats per minute, and we'll change the key to B minor, as that matches the track Friday. Next, we're going to go to the sample pack, and we're going to choose loops. Take a listen to some of the sounds in here, and just drag them straight into GarageBand. To listen to the sounds, select the file and hit the spacebar on your keyboard. Okay, once you've got some loops that you like and you've imported them, we're going to align them up correctly. So we're just going to drag the middle of the clips to the very start of this track, and they're all 4 bars long, so they should finish at the same point. Now if you press play, we'll hear the tracks together and see how it sounds.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Okay, so that's just 4 bars. We want to extend that into a 2 or 3 minute track. To extend the loops, you can loop them. So if you select it and look at the right hand corner, you can see the cursor changes to the loop icon. We're going to drag that over to the next 4 bars, and we can keep that going if we want to. Alternatively, select a loop and hit Alt on your keyboard, click it and drag it, and that duplicates it. Next, we're going to name our tracks. This helps us stay organized, and in the long run, it's going to be much easier to see what we're doing. Okay, next we're going to go back to the samples folder, and we're going to go back to MIDI files. So the names of these MIDI files matches the audio clips from the loops folder. So for example, Flute 1 MIDI file matches the audio played in the Flute 1 loop. So we're going to choose one of these. We're going to drag Polysynth 1, and by default, GarageBand chooses a piano to play the sound, but in the library just up here, you can change the sound to whatever you like. I've purposely not imported any chordal loops. That's because I'm going to create my own chord sequence. So I've got an instrument track up here. You can choose an instrument sound. I'm just going to stick with the piano. And if you've got a keyboard, you can record just by pressing the record button there and playing it in by hand. Alternatively, we can do it manually. So I'm going to right click, create MIDI region, extend it to 4 bars. Double click, and you can see the MIDI window has opened up here. I'm going to right click on the B note and press create note, and here you can create MIDI notes manually. Okay, so I've quickly created a new chord pattern. Let's see how it sounds over the other loops.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Sounding good. Now I've recorded that in, I can change the instrument sound if I like. So we'll change it to a pad. And now we'll take another listen.
It's Friday again.
Now we've got plenty of parts, we should distribute them out. Like I said, it's got to be a 2 or 3 minute track, so we're going to loop the new chord parts, and we might save the drums for a future section, and we can spread the vocals out too. Okay, let's see how this sounds.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Another tip for you is to add effects to sounds. So here we've got the flutes loop, and I'm going to select the track. I'm going to go down to make sure track is selected down here, and I'm going to add some reverb. That's just in the plugins section. So we'll go to reverb, select one of the plugins, and we'll solo the track, press play, and now we can play around with the reverb. So it's sounding a bit more ambient. So let's take a listen to how it sounds in the mix.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Already you can see how much of a difference a single plugin makes. In GarageBand, you also have the option of the Apple loops. On the right hand side up here, you've got the icon for the loops browser. And because we've set the tempo and the key already, it's going to show us loops and sounds that will match with the music. To listen, just select it. You can narrow down your options up here. Once you've found one that you like, select it and drag it in like you normally would with any other audio sample. And this one in particular is 4 bars long, matching the others. I'm going to loop it, and now we can take a listen to how that sounds.
What? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Once you finish your track, we're going to go to Share and Export Song to Disk. Give your track a name. And we want to save it as an MP3. Click Export. And then you can find where you saved it. I saved mine to my desktop. There's the track.
It's Friday again.
And we can take a listen. Here we've got a blank Ableton project. This should be the page you see when you first load it up. Remember to save your project first, and then we're going to change the tempo to 123 beats per minute, as that matches the track Friday. Then we're going to change the view of the project from session view to arrangement view. That's what we'll be working in today. Next, we're going to go to the sample pack, and we're going to choose loops. In here, you've got a range of audio clips that you can drag into your project and play around with. There's no limit to how many you can use, but for now we're going to use 4 or 5 just so we can start making some music. If you want to preview a sound before you import it, just select it and hit the spacebar on your keyboard. Once you've found some samples that you like, we're going to align them so that they can all be played in sync with each other. To do that, I'm going to click the top of the audio clips and drag them to the start of the track. Now they're all 4 bars long, so they should all start and end in the same place. Now we've done that, we can listen to them laid over each other.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Cool. Now your track's got to be 2 or 3 minutes long, so we're going to have to loop some of the clips. To do that, select a clip, and in the top right hand corner you can see the cursor changes to a bracket. We're going to click there and drag out to the next set of 4 bars. That means it's looped once, but you can keep going as long as you like. Alternatively, select a clip, hit Alt on your keyboard and click and drag, which duplicates the clip, which achieves a similar goal. I also recommend naming your clips. In the long term, it's going to be much easier if we're organized. Cool, now we're going to head back to the sample pack, but this time we're going to look at the folder MIDI files. So in here, the name of each MIDI file corresponds to the audio file with the same name. For example, Flute 1 is the same part as the Flute 1 loop file that we've just imported. However, with the MIDI files, you can change the instrument sound. So we'll take Polysynth 1 as an example. We'll import it in the same way into Ableton. We'll align it. We don't want to import the tempo or time signature. And we'll align it up with the other loops. So at the minute, that's not going to make any sound. It's just a MIDI track with no instrument assigned. So next, we're going to go into the left-hand side, choose Instruments. We'll go to the instrument rack, and we can choose some sounds from this list. I'm going to go with a synth lead, and I'm going to select my MIDI track. If I want to preview a sound, I can just select it once. And you get a preview of how it sounds. Once you've found one that you like, just drag it over to this blank box at the bottom. And now if we solo the track, cool. So I've purposely not imported any chordal parts. That's because I'm going to create my own chord sequence. To do that, we're going to create a new MIDI track. So we'll go to Create, Insert MIDI track, and here you can see is our new track. So I'm going to choose another instrument sound again. I'm going to choose piano, and we'll go with grand piano for now. Again, drag it across to the bottom. If you've got your own keyboard, you can play in some chords that way, just by hitting the record button up here, and making sure you've got record enabled on the track. However, if not, you can import MIDI data manually. To do that, we're going to select over the 4-bar region that we're looking at. We're going to right click and select Insert MIDI clip. Now we've got a MIDI region that we can edit. Down here we can input some MIDI data. To do that, just double click on one of the spaces and that'll create a note for us. Repeat this process to create your chord sequence. Cool, so your remix has got to be 2 or 3 minutes long, so we're going to have to extend these parts out a bit. But we've got a fair few bits to play with now, so that shouldn't be an issue. I'm just going to arrange these parts so it's a little bit more interesting and things are constantly changing. Now we've got a bit of variation in the track, we can take a listen.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Another tip for you when creating your remix is to add effects. We'll look at the flute track as an example and then we'll go over to audio effects on the left hand side. Here you've got a range of effects that you can add in. I'm just going to use reverb as an example. So we'll add a Hall effect. We'll double click the flute track. We'll drag in one of the presets on the left hand side. And we'll solo the flute and we'll just play around with the settings in here.
It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's
Already you can see how an effects plugin makes a difference. I'm sure you can imagine how experimental you can be. Once you finish your track, we're going to export it as an MP3. To do that, we go up to File, Export Audio/Video. Here we can alter some of the settings. We want the master track to be rendered. We want to turn the PCM off. And we want to encode MP3. There's no video, so it's not going to do that. Then we'll just click Export. We can choose where to save the file. I'm going to keep it named Friday Ableton Remix. Now if we go to the location of where we saved it, we'll be able to listen to the track that we've created.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Here we have a new project in BandLab. To get started, choose one of the track types and we'll open up the project. Okay, remember the first thing to do is to save your project. Just give it a name. So we're just going to call it Friday BandLab Remix. Hit enter. And then once we start making some music, we'll be able to press save. Next, we're going to change the tempo to 123 beats per minute. And we'll change the key to B minor, as that is the key of the track Friday. Okay, now we're going to go to the samples folder. And we're going to go to loops. So in here, you've got a variety of 4-bar audio clips of various instruments and vocals. Take a listen through and choose 4 or 5 and drag them directly into your BandLab project. To listen to the samples, just select one and hit the space bar on your keyboard. Okay, cool. Once you've imported them, we're going to start aligning them. They're all 4 bars long, so they should start and end in the same place. We're just going to drag them all to the very start, and then we can listen to them layered together.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Cool. So that's only 4 bars at the minute. To loop these clips, just select one, and you can see in the top right hand corner, you can see the loop icon. So we're just going to drag that over to the next set of 4 bars. That ends at bar 9, but if you want, you can carry on and go as long as you like. Alternatively, you can select a clip, hit Alt on your keyboard, click and drag, and that duplicates the clip rather than loops. It's the same kind of thing. I also recommend naming your tracks, as in the long run, it's going to be better to stay organized. It's going to be easier to see what you're doing. Cool. Now we're going to go back to the samples folder, but this time we're going to look at MIDI files. The name of each file corresponds to the audio file we've just seen in the loops. For example, Flute 1 is the MIDI part for the audio clip Flute 1. Only with MIDI files you can change the instrument sound. So we're going to choose Polysynth 1 as an example. We'll drag it into BandLab in the same way. And there you can see a 4-bar MIDI loop. At the minute, that's going to play as a piano sound, as that's the default in BandLab. But to change that, select the track, and down here you can see the instrument. We can change it to some different sounds. I'm just going to choose a synth sound. And now if we solo that clip, we can listen to how it sounds on its own. Cool. Now I purposely didn't import any chordal sounds. That's because I'm going to create my own chord sequence. To do that, we're going to add a new track. We're going to choose Instruments. And now if you've got a keyboard, you can play it in by hitting the record button. However, if not, we can do it manually. So I'm going to right click on the track, create region, and there we can see is a blank MIDI track for us to edit. To edit it, I'm going to double click it. And you can see here's the MIDI window. To create notes, just double click somewhere inside the MIDI window and it'll create a note for us. So the track's in B minor. I'm going to put notes on B minor and create my chord sequence. Now we've got a fairly simple chord sequence. So we can take a listen to how it sounds with the other audio loops that we've got. Okay, so I'm not too keen on the piano sound. But like we did a moment ago with the MIDI loop, we'll change the instrument sound by choosing Instruments down here and changing the sound to whatever you like. Let's take a listen to it with the loops. Now it's time to arrange them. Remember, your track's got to be about 2 or 3 minutes long. I'm just going to show you a quick demo here. So like I showed you before, with looping and duplication, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to arrange them out over a longer period of time. Now we've got a bit of variation in there, we can see how it sounds.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Sounding good. Another tip for you in creating your own remix is to add effects. We'll look at the flute track for example. Just select the track and we'll go down to the effects button in the bottom left hand corner. Here you can add presets or you can add individual plugins. So we'll choose add effect and we'll choose reverb for now. Choose a plugin and we'll solo the track and we'll take a listen to it and play around with the settings. That's sounding quite ambient to me. Let's take a listen to it with the other parts in as well.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Already you can see the difference effects has on some of the tracks. Something BandLab offers that other DAWs don't is a sample library of its own. To find it, go down to Samples in the bottom right hand corner, and we're going to choose Loops. Now we've already defined the key and the tempo of our track, so all the samples shown should go with the music that we've got already. Use the filters up here to narrow down your search. So I'm going to look for a lead sound, and let's go with electronic. And you can listen to them by hitting the play button just next to them. Once you've found a sample that you like, it's the same process as we did at the start. You drag it across into the window, and this loop is 4 bars long, so it's going to match up perfectly with the other loops we've got. Again, you can loop it in the same way. And now we'll take a listen to see how it sounds with the other parts.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Cool, remember to save your project just by hitting the save icon in the top right. Once you finish your track, we're going to export it as an MP3. Go to File, Download, and Mix Down As. Here you can choose the quality of your file. We're going to choose highest quality MP3 and click Download. Here you can name your file and choose where to save it. I'm going to name it as Friday BandLab Remix. And now if we go to my desktop, you can see there's the track that we just downloaded.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday.
Here we have a blank Pro Tools session. Remember to save your project first and then we're going to change the tempo to 123 beats per minute, as that matches the track Friday. Next, we're going to go to the sample pack, and we're going to choose loops. So in here, you've got a variety of different 4-bar loops from different instruments and vocals in the track. Have a listen through, pick 4 or 5 out, and drag them straight into your Pro Tools session. To listen to them, just select it and hit the spacebar on your keyboard. Okay, once you've imported some in, we're going to arrange them slightly. We're just going to drag them all to the very start, and they should all be the same length, so they'll all finish at the same point. Now we can take a listen to how they sound laying on top of each other.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
To loop these clips, you have to select them, hit the Alt key on your keyboard, and drag them across to the next set of 4 bars. To loop more than one clip, select one clip, hit the Shift key on your keyboard, select another clip, and repeat the process. Hit Alt and click and drag. I recommend naming your tracks as well, so we stay organized. It's much easier in the long run. You can also color code your tracks just by double clicking the track color code bar there. Now we're going to go back to the sample pack, but this time we're going to choose MIDI files. So the names of these MIDI files correspond to the audio clips that we just looked at in the loops folder. For example, the Flute 1 MIDI file is exactly the same as the audio file, also named Flute 1. But MIDI files allow you to change the instrument sound. So we're going to choose Polysynth 1. We'll drag it straight into Pro Tools. We want an instrument track, and we don't want to import any of these bits. Just click OK. And you can see that's again 4 bars long. That's not going to make any sound at the moment. We need to choose a software instrument. So we're going to go to the Inserts column. We'll choose the top box, Multi-Channel plugin, and go down to Instrument. Choose one of the instruments from your list. I'm going to choose Expand 2 for now. And I'm going to set the instrument as a mallet. So we'll choose this one. And we can solo it and take a listen. And if we listen to it with the other tracks,
Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again.
cool. So I've purposely not imported any chordal parts. That's because I want to create my own chord sequence. To do that, I'm going to create a new track, and this time I want to create an instrument track like the one we've just created. I'm going to choose another instrument. So I'll choose a piano for now. And if you've got a keyboard, you can turn on the track record enable and hit record and play it in. But if you don't have a keyboard, that's okay. Select the region by clicking and dragging across the whole 4 bars. And we'll go to Edit and Consolidate Clip. And that's created a blank MIDI clip for us. So now we need to double click it, and it brings up the MIDI editor. In here, you can just double click on your mouse and create MIDI notes that way. Okay, so that's a quick chord sequence I've put in. Let's take a listen to how it sounds in the mix.
Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Okay, cool. Now we've got a few parts loaded in, we can arrange them. To do that, I'm just going to click the clips and move them around. Remember, your track's got to be 2 or 3 minutes long, so you'll have to do an extended version of this. This is just a quick demo. Okay, now we've got a bit of variety in there. We can have a listen and see how it sounds.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Cool. Another tip I've got for you is to add effects. For example, we'll look at the flute track, we'll add an insert, and we'll go down to reverb. Choose a plugin from the list, and we'll solo the flute, and we'll just play around with the settings in here. Okay, so that's sounding much more ambient. Let's see how it sounds in the mix.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday.
Already you can see there's a real different vibe there. Play around with other effects on other tracks as well and see what you can come up with. Once you finish your track, we need to export it as an MP3. To do that, we want to highlight the region we want to export. So if we go to the very top, use the cursor and drag across the region you want to export. Just leave a little bit of room at the end for any reverb that overhangs. And then we'll go to File, Bounce Mix, name your track, choose the file type, MP3 in our case, and choose where you want to save it and click Bounce. Now when you find your file in the destination where you saved it, you'll be able to listen to it and then upload it as your remix. Here we've got a blank Cubase session. Remember to save your project first. To start, we're going to change the BPM to 123 beats per minute. That's so it matches the track Friday. Next, we're going to go to the sample pack and we're going to look at the folder Loops. In here, you've got a variety of different audio clips that you can use together and create your own remix. There's no limit to how many you use, but for now we're just going to use 4 or 5 to start creating some music as an example. To preview a clip, select it and hit the spacebar on your keyboard. To import, just drag the clips directly into your project. Once you've found some clips that you like, we're going to align them so that they can all play together in sync. To do that, select the clip and just drag it to the start. And they're all 4 bars long, so they should start and finish in the same place. Once you've done that, we'll listen to them laid on top of each other.
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Now your track is going to be about 2 or 3 minutes in length, so we're going to have to loop some of the clips. To loop a track, we're going to select a clip, and at the end of the clip you can see in the middle there's a grey square. We're going to grab that square and drag it to the next set of 4 bars. You can repeat this as many times as you like. Alternatively, if you select a clip and hit Alt on your keyboard and drag it across, it's going to duplicate the clip, which achieves the same kind of thing. I also recommend naming your tracks, because in the long run, it's going to be much easier if we stay organised. Cool. Next up, we're going to go back to the sample pack, but this time we're going to go to the MIDI folder. The name of each file in here corresponds to the audio file in the loops folder we've just looked at. For example, Flute 1 is the MIDI part for the audio clip Flute 1 as well. Only with the MIDI files you can change the instrument sound. So we'll use Polysynth 1 as an example, and there you can see it's imported the 4-bar MIDI file for us. I'm just going to align it up with the other loops. We can minimize this folder, and we can get rid of this. At the minute it's going to play out as a piano sound, as that's the default for Cubase. However, if you want to change it, we can change the instrument sound by clicking Edit VST Instrument on the left hand side here. And here we have a selection of sounds to choose from. Here you can choose a sound that you like. Double click the instrument. We'll solo this track and we can hear how it sounds on its own. Okay, so I've purposely not imported any chordal parts. That's because we're going to create our own chord sequence. To do that, we're going to create a new MIDI track. So we'll go up to the top and we'll choose Project, Add Track, and Instrument. You can choose the instrument there, and the other settings can remain the same. So we'll choose Add Track, and here again we can choose an instrument sound. We'll choose a synth pad this time. And at the minute we've not got any MIDI assigned to it. What you can do, if you've got your own keyboard, you can play it in by hitting the record button down there. Alternatively, you can input MIDI manually. To do that, we're going to right click and hold it down on our mouse, and then we're going to slide across to the draw tool. Then we're just going to use the left click and drag across the 4-bar region that we're looking at, and that'll create a blank MIDI clip for us. So we can right click and go back to the normal cursor, and we'll double click our new MIDI region, and it's brought up the MIDI editor for us. In here, we can double click on notes and it'll create the MIDI data for us. So the track's in B minor. I'm going to double click on B, and I'm going to repeat the process to create a 4-bar chord sequence. Okay, now I've got a fairly simple chord sequence. Let's take a quick listen. Now I'll play it with the rest of the loops that we've imported. Now we've got a few different parts, we can arrange them and extend what we've got into a piece of music. Remember, your track's got to be about 2 or 3 minutes long, but I'm just going to do a shorter version here as an example. Okay, let's take a listen to how that's sounding.
Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, it's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Another tip that I've got for you when creating your remix is to add effects to it. We'll use the vocals as an example, and on the left hand side here you can see the tab Inserts. So in there you've got some blank spaces to add plugins. Click on the top box and we'll go down to Reverb and we'll use that as an example. Choose a plugin that you like. We'll solo the vocal track so we can hear it without any plugin first, and then we'll play around with the settings and see what we can do with it.
It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Already you can see how much of a difference that reverb makes, so let's take a listen now to see how it sounds with the other parts in the track.
Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, it's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday, what?
Already you can hear the difference one effect makes. There's no limit to how many effects you can use, so remember to be experimental. Once you finish your track, we need to export it as an MP3. To do that, we need to set the locators around the region that we want to export. The locators are at the top. You can see the cursor changes to a pencil tool. We're going to drag out to just after the track ends, which gives room for any reverb or delay to die down. And then we're going to go to File, Export, and Audio Mixdown. Here we can change the name of the file, we can change where we're going to save it, and we can change the file type. We want to choose MPEG, which is the same as MP3. After that, click Export Audio, wait for it to finish, and then if we go to the destination, where we just chose to save it, we'll be able to listen to our song as an MP3.
Friday again,
To submit your remix, we're going to go to the Remix contest page, scroll down to the bottom where you can see Submit Your Remix. Find your MP3 in your Finder and just drag it across onto the web page, enter your details and click Submit Entry. Alternatively, click Browse Files and find your remix that way.